Good evening, everybody. This is Blackwolf of Blackwolf Bees, also president of 4Gs with Bees, and this is a sneak show of the inside of my enclosed apiary and growing building, or growing shack. This here is our beta hive. This is what spawns every split, every nuke. Every hive that we grow comes from this one right here. This is Site 004. This will be going out to Host-A-Hive. It is in a wooden expanded growable nuke box. Wooden. These two little nukes here we just started. They are our backups, just in case, to make sure we got some extras in the spring, just in case we get any extra orders. We have something we can fall back on, get us kick started in the spring a little quicker, a little earlier. All our queens are carniolans. This hive is going out to Black Rock Canyon area. That is Carniolan. That's for site 1, our very first site. She has grown. We will grow this and monitor it through the winter, and then come springtime, if her numbers are good and the queen looks good and everything looks good, we'll then seal it up, break it down into sections, seal up each section, and transport it out to its final site, and put it all back together, and then let them just do their thing. And then that site, that box right there, will become its beta for that site, and it will spawn the sub colonies off of it. So if this box becomes too big, or this colony gets too big for the whole housing assembly, which there's supposed to be a third box that goes with this. As you can see, a lot of these hives aren't even, we don't even have a finishing hive for them yet. We don't have a final hive even built for them. We have some miscellaneous parts. I got an entrance assembly and some expanding boxes and lining boards for wooden nukes, but as far as the final hive, their final home, we are falling short. We are actually short 2 hives for what we have for our hosts for next spring. We have 5 hosts lined up, but I have 2 colonies that don't have a complete hive yet. This one's partial, that one's partial. We have this one up here. This is for site 005. Site 5 is going out towards the Charlotte Fire area. This is going out to the south end of town to the Wild Horse Ridge area, and this will have a nice direct shot to help kickstart the reflowering of all the wildfire damage that's been done. They went out and they hydroseeded the area with wild grasses and flowers and whatnot. And I've been monitoring for the past couple years, and it's been looking good. And I finally found a host to host one of our hives. He's got about 5 acres of land. Most of it's undeveloped. He said I can just go out there and we can set her up. Only downfall is we don't have a final hive to put her in. I've got a base, but we don't have any boxes for it, any brood boxes. We need the Vivaldi box, 3 brood, and at least 1 honey at least. We've fallen behind about $500 in miscellaneous parts, basically, to get everybody going. I just basically need to stock up on frames for medium and deep brood box. We need to get enough funding so we can put together more hives. That's our biggest issue. We also host our feeding site right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see him. It's pretty late in the evening. I work a day job, and then I personally fund this whole setup myself. We do not sell our bees. We do not rent our bees. We just find homeowners on the outskirts of town, out around the edges, who have like 3 or more acres of land, and a lot of it just wilds and undeveloped, and they just really just don't mess with it. And we say, hey, well, if you don't have any use for it, here's an option. You can allow us to come out and put a hive out there, let it grow. Maybe it'll become 4 hives, and we'll give them, every time we harvest, we take 10% of the honey and we give that to the homeowner. We then take another 10% and we donate that to the local church kitchens for YMCA and the local churches and whatnot. And then the rest we try and sell off and use that money to help fund more parts so we can get more bees out there. Our final target is to try and get a contract with the BLM and be able to actually go out after the wildfire, after the hydro seeding takes effect, and set up a hive and try and help increase the spreading of the new wildflowers that were hydro seeded out there. Because face the facts, after a wildfire rips through an area, there's no pollinators whatsoever. So we're just trying to help get it kick-started and get some pollinators to start catching idea that there's new growth out there. Once it becomes established, we'll pack up the hive and move it to the next location, which we try to set up contracts for each hive location being no less than 3 years, so we don't stress out the bees at all. We want them to just have a place they can call home. None of this show up, drop them for 90 days, pack them back up, and head down the road, go to the next place. We're just looking for people who are offering up a little spot on their land to call it a home for honeybees, and we put everything together. I pay for everything. Everything you see here is basically out of my pocket. Most of the stuff except for like the landing boards and the entrances, the Vivaldi boxes, of course. I just buy unassembled and then just put them together once I get them. Or once I have a hive ready for that part, then I put the part together, paint it, let it air dry for a few days and air and vent out, and then I'll install the part. So that's where we stand. We're just a little hobby side nonprofit business. We're called 4Gs with Bees. And all we try to do is help get the honeybees back into local Pocatello to pollinate the Pocatello area, the local in-town micro farms, and to target the wildfire restoration. Thanks for taking a moment to listen to my spiel.